Hi guys, here we are again. So it's been about 2 weeks-ish since I uploaded the As the Crow Flies meet and greet, which was great. As you can see, if you've seen it. If not, then go have a look in the channel somewhere. It's certainly in there. So this is video 3, and this one is going to be about our gig. Before we go on to that, however, I would like to do my shout out. Now, shout outs every video that I do, I've decided to shout out a different band or organisation or just a little project for Facebook. And I've decided to pick Stephen Goodrum, who manages the role in Pleasure for Your Ears, which are pretty cool. If you go on their website on their Facebook page on Facebook, you'll be able to list through a whole bunch of different bands and different music stuff from t-shirt people right down to merchandise and stuff, all the way up to actual bands playing. People put their gigs and they put their videos up, and it's a really good forum if you're in a band to chat to him and ask if you can put stuff up, and vice versa. It's also a really cool place if you just want to listen to music. If you just want to find some new bands who may not be in the whole Kerrang kind of scene or all the other sort of TV things and huge bands. You might just want to have a look at some bands who are in the same boat as me and probably a lot of people who may be going to watch this in the beginning. So yeah, go check them out. I'll put their URL somewhere. I'll try to put it here, right just here. So yeah, just there. I've also got a t-shirt of theirs. I was going to wear it, but I decided to wear mine. But here's their t-shirt. So I can't actually see, so I'm sure you can see it just there, but it's pretty cool. The problem I had with this t-shirt is when I bought it, it was awesome and it fit great. But then I started going to the gym and it must have shrunk in the wash. I don't know. But yeah, they've got some pretty cool stuff, so go check them out. So the gig, how did it go? Well, there was a bunch of people there. It was more a chance for us as a band to get together as a unit and get on stage and set up, because we've never done it before, together as a group, all of us separately with different bands, but never really together. So I thought it went quite well. 20 minutes though, 20-minute set isn't really a lot. I think 30, 45 minutes, that's a good set. But yeah, it was great. I'll be putting snippets up here and there. So in my experience, the general running and operating of a gig typically comes with turning up with your gear before the doors open. People get their stuff in, get it on stage. You should have a set list of times of who's going on in what order. Usually if it's quite a big gig, I usually go to sort of 3 bands or 4 bands, headlining band always at the end, and then reverse order. Typically, I think that you would usually do the headlining band first, set them up, and then the band before them put their gear on top and their gear on top. It saves on the changeover. So, typically speaking, if the first band go on for half an hour and then they need to get their gear off and then the second band needs to go on, it can take 30 or 40 minutes for a band to get their drum kit on, get their amps plugged in and turned on, and then sound checked and ready. So if you sort of get there 2 hours beforehand and do all that stuff, then it makes the changeover so much quicker. You watch the last song of band number 1, and then you got 15, 25 minutes to go over, grab yourself a beer, go to the toilet. You get back, and the next band's on. So it always works out quite well like that. So once the bands are all sorted out and everything else, all on stage, sound check, the doors will open, you walk in, you grab a drink, you go to the front, however long they start playing till. Some bands play as soon as the door opens, so you can sometimes miss the first band that play, but I think a lot of gigs that I go to, they typically open the doors at, say, 7, the first band's on at 7:30, so if you get in there with a decent time. Something that's quite frustrating, especially to bands who are playing, is that the headlining band will typically organise the night, usually, I guess, and then people will turn up to see band number 2 out of 4, and then when they've seen band number 2, they'll have a drink and then leave. So then there's not really that many people to stick around. So it's always really nice when you go there and you go to a gig and you see that there's still a whole bunch of people in the crowd sitting there, waiting, that have been there since the beginning, who actually came out for a night out and not just as a favour to a friend. So it's always really nice to see a nice big room full of nice, good load of people who are all sort of cheering on, and they enjoy the music, because it's great. It's great being on stage with that kind of atmosphere. I'll explain about that in a second, really. But it's great feeling appreciated, even if you don't even know most of the people there, because all bands start from somewhere. All bands start, you go to a gig and you've just made your name, you got a couple of songs, and then you get on stage with someone else's band, and everyone's come to see them, and you play your music, and it's really nice to hear other people appreciate it and woo you on and stuff. So. So yeah, the operation brings me on to the Soundman. Now, you don't always need to have a sound guy that's there. Usually it's music venues who have sound guys, or if the bands have paid for a sound guy to do it. Some venues are so big that you can't just plug your amps in and play with it. You might not be able to hear stuff over anything. I mean, the cymbals, especially on drum kits and stuff, you need to have a drum kit mic'd up to have it really propel around a room. But the sound guy, having a decent sound guy, when you turn up and he's like, right, let's sound check this, let's plug you into this, and they're really on the game. I won't name names or anything, but I've played with some really good sound guys. Like, you think in your head that you know what a good sound guy should be, but when you've really seen a good sound guy, you'll realize it's nothing like it. It's really unique. It's really rare, I find, to find a really good sound engineer who's really worth every pound you pay. So it actually brings me on to a rule. Someone told me before, you always get the name of the sound man who's there, because if there's one thing sound men don't like, is being called sound men. And I know that I've just said that loads throughout this video, but it's a different context. But if you're on stage and what you're not high enough and you want to be a bit louder, actually shouting across a room full of people, "Hey, sound guy!" It sucks. Call him Dave, call him Clive, call him Gary. They're all guys' names. I don't know any girl. Yeah. But anyway, so always know the sound guy's name, because, if you call him by name, you're like, hey, Gary, can you just, turn my amp up or something? That'll be great, because you don't want an angry, disappointed sound guy, because they might not work at 100%. which is great because, no, it's not great. So I was going to say about the feeling on stage. Now, it's really good with a feeling on stage when you're there with a good crowd, even if they're not necessarily yours. I think sort of bands that I've been to, because I go to smaller kind of gigs, you know, I mean, like 200 head capacity rooms. You've got places locally to me like the, you know, you've got the LCR at the UEA. You've got the Waterfront. They're both like in the hundreds. You know, I think the Waterfront downstairs is like 700 or 800 head. So that's pretty big. But I typically go to small sort of 100, 200 head capacity rooms because I like to see a really big, full room. As the Crowe Flies actually have a gig locally soon, and I think the room itself is quite narrow. Like if you put the drum kit in the back at the end, and then you got the 2 amps, that's about as wide as the room goes, and it goes all the way back. Bar at the end, entrance at the end. But that's great. You can put sort of 15 or 30 odd people in the middle of that room and it'll pack it. But the feeling of that when you're in a room full of people who are all there, all watching you, it's quite a good feeling, I find. But it's also where all the nerves come from, because you always get the nerves of turning up and then someone goes, hey, you guys can get on stage now. And, you know, and they're like, oh, that's me. So you go over, you grab your bag, grab your stuff, you start plugging in. And I find that I'm not nervous at all. I wake up this morning, I wake up on the morning of the gig, you know, and I'll be fine. I'll be like, oh, I've got a gig later, it's cool. I'll be driving to the gig, I'll be like, yeah, that's fine. But when I get there, I watch the bands, and then there'll be a moment. There was actually a moment in this very gig when I was sitting at the table, I was fine. And then I looked up, and then I looked at my watch, and I was like, we're going up in 5 minutes. And that was it. Boom. I was like, whoo, it was weird. And after that, it became a little bit weird, and they, you know, they came off the stage, and then it was our turn to go up. I think we had like maybe 20, about 20 minutes to sort out our stuff. So that's about it, I think. As you can see from the gig, it was pretty good fun. I don't know if it really come across, but there was a few people behind the cameras that was all sort of sitting down. It was a very relaxed kind of room. We got some good feedback from that. But we're going to be doing a gig at Gringo's Tequila Bar in Norwich on the 12th of May. So if anyone that watches this out there in internet land wants to come along, then come along. There's an event for it over on Facebook, so just go over there, type in As the Crowe Flies, and it'll be up there, or even type my name in, Theo Crowe, Crowe with an E. Then yeah, you can find all the details on there. I think there's an entry charge, but I think it's only £2 or £3, so it's not too bad. We also have tickets as well, so if you want advanced tickets. But that's all on Facebook. The next video, I'm not really sure what to do with the next video. I was hoping to start doing more of an interview with bands. Now I've sort of explored what it's like in the rehearsal studio, which I don't know if anyone noticed, but I put my previous video as 1 for the meet and greet for the As the Crowe Flies band, because I do actually want to set up a camera and record what it's actually like in the studio. I have some sound clips, so I suppose I could use them randomly. Most of them are people being mean to me, so yeah. But I'm hoping to get some interviews done with actual bands. I'm hoping to get some of that done. Where we'll sit down with them, we'll talk face to face. I know there is 3 bands, I suppose, that I'm talking to that want to do that. So I'm hoping to release like a band interview like once, maybe twice a month, just for different bands. It'll give bands a chance to get their stuff online, because it's really good for gigs and stuff like that, but it'll also give people the opportunity to, maybe who are watching this because of As the Crowe Flies, might be like, hey, look, there's a band there, they're cool, and I'll link all of their stuff over everywhere so you can see. and then it'll introduce other people to bands and bands to other people, and that'll be cool. So if anyone's watching wants to be involved with that, anyone's in a band or know anyone in a band, just tag their name at the bottom of this link, or send me a message through my Facebook channel, which I suppose if you go on groups, Facebook page, if you go on the Facebook page, type in Theo Crowe YouTuber. I think it's Theo Crowe YouTuber or Dash YouTuber, but yeah, go on there, give my thing a like, my page a like, and we'll yeah. But alternatively, just write their name down at the bottom here, the band name. I'll send them a message through. So yeah, so thank you to everyone who's watched so far. Feel free to subscribe wherever it is on the page. I don't know. Subscribe, like, comment, anything you like. Share the video. I don't mind. It'd be great to hear people's feedback. So anyone that watches these videos think there's something I can do better, something I can do less of, maybe I can stop waffling so much like I am. Just write it at the bottom. That'd be cool. It'd be really nice to hear people's feedback. Or alternatively, if there's anyone that does the same kind of thing that people are actually interested in, you know, the same kind of thing that I'm doing with music and stuff, then you know, write their name down at the bottom in the comments. I'll have a look at them, chat to them, and see what they're up to and stuff. And you know, maybe we can do something with that. That'd be great. So yes, thank you everyone, and I'll see you soon.